So today we're going to be talking about rituals or habits, but first I want to show how the stories that we believe affect our rituals and habits. So the stories that we believe affect those habits, those things that we do on a regular basis, sometimes even if we don't realize it. So I'm going to give two stories or two examples of this, one not so serious and one a little bit more serious. So there's a story, as a kid, maybe you growing up, there was a story that if you ate too much candy and didn't brush your teeth, what would happen? Cavities. And then what would happen? They'd fall out. Your teeth would fall out. Okay? So, and in the story, whether it was filled with scientific fact or not, that was the story. And as a parent, it was our job to perpetuate that story. Because what would happen? Ideally, they would brush their teeth because they were scared for their teeth to fall out. So it's like, hey, if you don't brush your teeth and if you eat all that candy, your teeth are going to fall out eventually. Whether that's true or not, whether that has any basis or not, we build that story that helps to inform the ritual or the habit of brushing your teeth. Now, some of you are one brush a day, and some of you are two brush a day. Some of you are maybe brush after every meal. Some of you are flossers, right? Do you go to the dentist? Do you ever lie to them with how much you floss? Yeah. Tanner's like, no, I just give him the truth. But it's really fascinating because this is how powerful stories are. We all are told a story by our dentist that we should floss, right? Well, I don't floss, but then every time I go to the dentist, they say like I have a perfect teeth and perfect gums. So they're telling me a story I don't believe, and because of that, I don't have rituals or habits. But I bet you that the moment I get like a serious gum infection or a cavity, I'm gonna start believing that, and it's gonna start informing different habits and patterns that I build, right? So that's just kind of showing you how, man, the stories that we're told and to the degree that we believe those stories informs what we do with it. So here's a little bit more of a serious example. So and this is a true story. There's a single mom, okay? A single mom. She has 3 children that she takes care of, and she wants to have another child, right? So single mom has 3 children that she takes care of, and she wants to have another child. And she expresses this to her oldest son, who's about 7 or 8 years old. And her older son says to her mom, you should have another child. I will help you take care of it. That's what he says. He says, you should have another child. I'll help you take care of it. And then he says, but then when it gets difficult, I will leave, because that's what dads do. Okay? So here is an 8-year-old boy who believes a story. And his story is truly that as a father, you have a responsibility to help take care of your child up until the point that it gets too difficult. And then you have the freedom to leave. And he spoke that as truth. That's the story that he's believing. And what that will flesh out is rituals and habits that he will have growing up. And some of those habits will be to hold people at arm's length relationally, to maybe emotionally detach from anything that might cause a higher level of commitment to the family. And ultimately, the habit of checking out, of distracting himself through whatever his vice is, so that he can avoid the weight or maybe the difficulty or the challenge of caring for children. And then maybe even perpetuating the habit of walking away when it got too tough. And so those are 2 examples, real examples of stories that we are given, or maybe we experience or are told to us, and how they then inform rituals and habits, and how really those are powerful in our lives. They inform a lot about how we move and how we operate.